Hello, and welcome back. Today we're going to be continuing work on this, like Builder Proc macro that we wrote, I guess 4 months ago. It's been a little while, but I was using it, recently for, I guess I can open it for no, that's not what it's called. It's called that. Yes, for this little, thing. Uh, why am I pitched up? Oh God. I have not checked my sound in a while. Is it broken?
Excellent, excellent. Anyways, where were we? Right. So um I started using the builder that we wrote a while back in an application recently, which is like this one or a library. Um and this is just a library for using OpenSCAD in Rust, but that doesn't really matter. But in me using this, I discovered a couple of shortcomings of the builder. Found a pretty important bug, which I fixed here, which is that the visibility of functions was always private, or of like the builder functions was always private, which is obviously not quite correct considering it's a builder that's meant to be public. So I fixed that very recently, but yeah, there's just a couple of like small things that I want to fix here. And I've got a couple of issues here. I just see that there's a to do down here as well. This to do is a type state builder, which we'll probably not get to today, just because that is super duper complicated. Um, but I created a few issues that I kind of want to go through. I don't know specifically which ones we'll tackle in here, but probably this one. And I like, or I would like to do this one as well today. But those are the primary goals. And then this PR got opened since I last looked at it. So let's go ahead and see what the change is here. Yeah, it's just that. So we can go ahead and merge this as well. Bam, bam, bam. Look at that. We already have code and we're only, I don't know when I started streaming, but we're only like half an hour into the stream. Fantastic. Couldn't update branch. What? Oh. Oh, it deleted the branch, I see. Okay, fantastic. So now, yeah, now we got this. Let me pull those changes, and then let's look at our first issue. So first one, um, yeah, let's do this. So this doesn't have a description because the title is pretty descriptive, but basically, if so, right now dot build on the builder. Do we have an example? We probably have an example. Simple. Right now dot build returns a result here of like the actual built structure, or an error if there is an error. But like on this structure, we know it cannot. This one actually can have an error because it's got a limit there. But if we know that it cannot have an error, then I don't think we need to return a result here. All right, I don't think it makes sense to return a result here. So if it's infallible, then we're gonna not have an error. But if I look at, actually, there's not really a good way to see the foo. Let's do cargo expand example simple. That works, yeah. And then we see that there is this foo build error. No, not this. This. There's a foo build error, which is empty. Oh, sorry, that's an implementation. Why do we have an empty implementation? Oh, it's structural partially. I'm being fucking stupid. Foo build error has 3 different variants. So there's 3 possible errors here. Let's create an infallible.rs, which is just going to have a struct foo. We'll derive debug and Bauer builder, and it can just have a field called field, which is a string, and it's got builder. into. So now if we go here, we can say foo builder dot field hello dot build, like that. And then I want to just say, like, I basically do a type assertion here that this is a foo, which right now it's not because it's a result. But also this is really annoying that you have to reopen that for Rust Analyzer to pick it up. But now if we expand infallible, you'll see that here, no, not here, here. Oh, actually, sorry, no. This needs to have like default or something like default. Like that. So now this is infallible because before you could say, hey, it's missing the field, but now it's an empty enum, which is infallible. This is effectively equivalent to the never type in Rust, actually. So this is like the way that you do a never type before, since we don't have like the never type actually stabilized yet. But this is still returning a result like that. There is a way that we can just like do this. And since the compiler knows that the error type cannot be constructed, it knows that this is okay. But this is still annoying if you want to like chain this. Like I can't do dot field here. I have to say unwrap dot field. And then this unwrap is kind of gross. So I'd rather not do that. I want to be able to do this. So let's make that happen. Yeah, so let's go back to the source. And it has been a little while since I've actually looked at this source like thoroughly. So, what the fuck? Hello, syntax highlighter? Okay, that was weird. So it's been a while since I've looked at this, so it might take a little bit of time to get back into it, but we'll see. Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. Okay. Let's see. So first of all, let's look where we're generating that error type. Yeah, so here we create the identifier. Where do we use this? This is creating this is actually like constructing the field finally. Also, just for the record, my 3D printer's running in the background, so if you hear any funky noises, that's what that is. But yeah, so this stuff is mostly just constructing the like actually creating like the field from I guess from an iterator. And then let's see. Down here we've got some other stuff. We actually construct the error here. Okay. That's fine. This build function is only going to want to, or is only going to have the result if build error. So, I mean, I think we can literally just say let build function equals if, and then how do we construct this build error? So build error, this is just the name of this. How do we actually construct the fields for it? That happens down here, build error variance, which is this like iterator. Yeah, this is still an iterator. Let's collect this into a vector. Just so that we can count it. Although actually, no, this is a flat map. Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. What the hell is this code? This is gross. Like we're constructing multiple vectors Okay, maybe we refactor this a little bit, but for now, we'll just do it like this. So we'll collect it into a vector. And then down here, if build error variance dot len or is empty, then the build function is just going to be nothing. Quote an empty block. Or no, wait, we still want to create the build function. Maybe we just do like build signature, and then like maybe just have it be this part. So we don't have to like duplicate all this. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's do build return. So if we have no error variant, then it's just going to be an empty block. Otherwise, it's going to be this thing. Although we still need to change this. Let's do build return and build return type. And then we'll say, here we'll say quote, built. And then here, we'll put a comma and we'll do this. So we get built, like this identifier built, and the empty quote. And then here we'll say, here. And actually this can be unit. Let's do unit there. And then we'll do arrow, which is going to be build return tie. And then this is going to be let built is this. And then it's going to be build return. And then here we're going to say quote, okay built. Like that. Cool. And then this is formatted really poorly, but that is fine. That works. Okay, and then I think actually that should just do it. So if we expand infallible now, we're still generating the build error, which we can get rid of, but build just returns, sorry, it doesn't return unit, it returns whatever the struct type is. So it's going to be this guy. Right, so now build, this build finalizing function returns foo directly. And then sure, this technically this like let is unnecessary, but I think it's fine. Is it? Let's just see. What does this function look like now? Honestly, you know what? No, wait, not this. This guy. There's not a lot of duplicate. Wait. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing for the third fucking time. There's not a lot of duplicate stuff in here. I feel like this is just too confusing. So let's just say build fn. And we'll quote. And we'll say it's this guy. And then in this case, we're going to return this. Oh, I removed the quote. That's why it's complaining. This might not be properly closed. Right, so we've got unbalanced, yeah. And then the closing quote needs to be here too. This is going to be called build fn. And then we need to do the same thing down here, where we say okay around this ident. And then this is going to return a core result over this guy. Like that. This build return is now going to just be that. Perfect. That seems to be correct. Okay, and then let's cargo expand, make sure that this is all looking more or less like we want it to. Yeah, so the build function here just returns foo. We construct a foo. Okay, that all seems fine and dandy. Now we don't want to generate this, the actual error enum. So we're going to say build error enum. And actually, this can go here too. It can. I'm gonna not because I think it's kind of confusing to have two tuples here, or have a tuple here. I think it just makes the code really messy. So I think this is fine. So we'll say if build error variance dot is empty. Then we're gonna say build error enum is this guy. And then the other case, or sorry, if it's not empty, we do that. Otherwise, we do just an empty thing. So now if we cargo expand, we don't have the error type at all because it's infallible. Right? Yeah, that seems cool. And then if we go and we cargo run example, what do we call this? Infallible. Then we should see it compiles. Perfect. And then if we do make it fallible, so if we go back to infallible and we say, hey, this doesn't have a default anymore, then we have an issue. What is the issue? Oh, result doesn't have an error type. Yeah, that is correct. Probably should have copy pasted instead of manually typing out this again. This needs to be build error. Like that. So now we've got the error type here. And then if we run it, we'll see that this fails to compile because it needs to unwrap. I'm surprised it's recommending unwrap. I thought it always recommended expect instead. But I guess not. Foo build error does implement debug, right? Yeah, it implements debug. I don't know, that's weird. That's fine. So we've got that finished. I think that's pretty much all that needs to be done for that. Do we have like testing for UI stuff? We do. Nah, I don't think there's really any real UI stuff to add here. I do want to move move examples infallible to tests because it's much more of a test. And then we just say let foo is a foo. And we have a default here. Yeah, there's this warning now from Clippy that I want to tackle next, actually. But I want to finish this first. So this should be infallible. Why is it not? Cargo T. Yeah, it compiled. Oh, but we do now actually interesting. Some of our existing documentation testing is incorrect now because right, these are doc tests. Yeah, they're incorrect now because they're unwrapping. That's fine. Let's go fix those. So source lib, it says line 259. This unwrap is unnecessary. I would agree. Right, because it's repeat some number of times. It cannot fail. 283. So this unwrap is unnecessary for the same reason. 151. These both have default, so this doesn't need to be unwrapped. Same thing here, same structure. Okay. 202. Is that the, no, 202. This is also repeat, so it doesn't need to be unwrapped. Great. Maybe we write a little bit of documentation. somewhere about the fact that like if the structure can be built without a chance of failure, if so, the return type of .build on the builder is a result if the I guess if the build can fail. This could be I guess if the build can fail due to missing fields or invalid number of repeat arguments, repeat n, etc. If a call to .build cannot fail, it will return the built struct. Built struct directly. Okay, hit checkout -b. I guess infallible build. Infallible build. Add I guess unwrap? No, it's not really unwrap. I was gonna say unwrap result, but we're not even doing that. We're just remove result when .build cannot fail. And then we can PR, compare PR, remove result when .build cannot fail. We'll assign me. We'll mark this as an enhancement. Not a project, but not a milestone. Yeah, that closes. Which one is this? 10. Perfect. Okay, compare and PR, or compare, create PR. And then we'll let the CI run on this. While that's running, I want to take a look at that other thing that I mentioned. So it's probably a case in here. No. What about complex? Yeah, so this is an issue here. I don't know if this is a new Clippy lint or if it's recently been bumped up to Warren or something. But this happens. Let me create an MVP. MVP? No. Let me reproduce this on a smaller. Oh wait, holy shit! Desktop audio is muted. There you go. Now we get music again. Let me reproduce this in a smaller case. So let's there's a complex examples. What do we call this? Unnecessary closure. Like that. We can literally just take this one thing. It's basically anywhere that we have like just default. Like that. So this unnecessary closure, if I cargo expand that example that we just created. Oh, you're not going to tab complete that. What about that? Are you going to tab complete? You are. Like that. Beautiful. If we look at this, you see for field B, it generates this little bit of code, which is unwrap or else, and then it creates a closure that just calls a function with no arguments. I don't know if it's worth trying to figure out if that's the case, or not figure out if that's the case, or if it's like check, like if it's worth trying to check if that's what's happening, or if we just ignore the lint. I think the latter, honestly, because the user could do like default, and it would still produce that, or it won't. I definitely expected that to be another example of it. Unnecessary closure. Does that really not cause it? This should expand to basically the same thing. Yeah, it expands to basically the same thing. I'm not sure why this doesn't cause it, but the other one does. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just say let's ignore the error. It doesn't really matter. I'm almost certain that the compiler is just gonna be like, oh yeah, that closure is unnecessary, or redundant, I guess is the term that it uses, and it'll almost certainly just get rid of it. Although, actually, you know what? It's literally here. I didn't realize it was just in its own thing. In that case, I'm okay with doing that. Yeah. I did not realize it was explicit. I thought we just basically set this value, but I guess not. Okay, that makes me happy. Let's cargo Clippy on that again. Oh, I guess there's also an unwrap or default. Unwrap or default. Cool. And then I don't see any reason to keep that around. So let's remove examples, unnecessary closure. And cargo Clippy doesn't complain about anything else in here, right? Okie dokie. Yeah, diff here is tiny. Get checkout B. Okay. Yeah, that seems fine. Let's merge that. Remove resultant dot build. We can do that. Win.build cannot fail. Perfect. Like that. Okay, delete that branch. Now let's create a PR for this. So this is gonna be, what are we even doing here? Yeah, fix redundant closure. Fix redundant closure. Nope, not that. Branch. Perfect. Compare NPR. Yeah, this doesn't even have an issue associated with it, so we'll let that run. Let's see, what other things do we have in here? So tuples should be split. Oh, and this is also done, by the way. Complete with, I guess I forgot to combine this issues. What? Completed by. Why are you so fucking useful, GitHub? Show me the thing. Add CR. Wait, I forgot the number. 7. Okay. Great. Look at all this progression. Progress. That's the word. Okay. This, I think, should be done. And it's done enough. It's out of date. Oh, that's fine. I trust that the CI is correct. Or redundant. Okay. Delete branch. Fantastic. Back to issues. Let's see. So we've got tuples should be split into parameters. So this is an interesting one. Basically, I want, if you have tuples specified in a field, it should end up being like presented to the builder as separate arguments. And then I want some form of like opt out of this so that you have to specify the tuple. And what I specifically want is if you have a tuple and you use like into this like pi, like the first argument does into string and the second argument is into f64. And then if you have whatever this opt-out is, I don't know the name of it yet, but we'll figure that out. Then you do both that opt-out and into, I want it to do into that tuple. And that kind of goes back to my library here, where I've got like this thing called translate, which accepts a or I guess this isn't really the best thing. Let's go look at cube. Cube is a thing down here which accepts, I'm not actually using a builder for it because I wanted some other things for it, but kind of accepts the size as a vector, like a 3D vector, and it takes into that. And I have tuples of 3 elements of like floats can be turned into a vector 3. But if I were to, I guess, where am I going with that? You know what? Ignore what I just said. If I have a structure that can be turned into a pair, like a tuple with 2 values, like this, and the user, like the builder, wants to be able to do that, like the user of the typo, but the user of the library wants to allow that, then I want this to be opt out, so that you can still pass in a tuple, and then you can also use into so that you can use that structure that can be turned into a tuple. But yeah, that's going to require a decent amount of work, I think. So yeah, let's take a peek at that. So sorry, check out main. Let's pull this. Did we merge that PR? Yeah, we did. Okay. And let's check out, what are we gonna call this? I guess tuple parameters. It helps if I can spell. Great. So now let's do this first part, which is like the simplest part, which is just turning this tuple into a list of arguments or parameters. I don't know, the naming is confusing, but basically let's just do this first simple step of taking a tuple and then taking 2 arguments. So somewhere we need to do this. So where do we actually generate the function? So we've got a thing somewhere called functions, which is this guy. Yeah, that's this guy, which does all of this, and then ultimately we have this function called fnident. Yeah. And then source here is the actual trait that we use for getting the, or not the trait, but the I guess the type. This is just the type for the thing, and then we have this value, which is how we convert that into the value that we're actually expecting. Technically, So actually, first of all, before we do that, let's see. So we've got, how do we get our type? What is F? F here is the builder field. So this is our custom type, I think. Yeah, this is builder field. It's got this type on it. Although we have this tie, which is the type that it should actually accept, I think. Right, so it's, what is repeat? Repeat here is an option repeat, which has, okay, the amount of times we should repeat, that's fine. So if we are repeating, then it's going to use the inner type, otherwise it's going to use the actual types. Yeah, so this is, tie here is the type of argument we want to accept. Can I do anything with this? Like, what is type? What is this from? Can I do that? I cannot. Type comes from, oh, it's literally just an enum. So we can match on type. Match tie. Nope. This guy. And one of these somewhere should be a tuple. Which is a type tuple, which gives us type tuple. Which has lms, which is type, and then the actual token of the parentheses. So we can say lms, which gives us a list of types. It is a little bit weird, I'm just thinking about now. What do we call the individual fields? We could make it opt-in. Let's do examples tuple rs. Let's create foo. Let's derive. Wow, I cannot type. Derive Bauer builder. Let's have something called field. This has this has a string and a F64. Let's restart this because Rust Analyzer gets stupid. Tuple, this guy. So that's weird. Why are you doing that? Oh, I guess it can't be built because it's got a syntax error right now. Let's fine, do that. Now it should be able to build, except Rust Analyzer is still stupid. Tuple. Okay, now we're cool. If I do foo builder, and then we say field, basically the goal is to say pi and 3.14 ish. I don't actually know if this currently works with a builder. Unwrap, whatever. There's unimportant things. Great. So this takes one argument. So right now it should be this. Okay, that's just Clippy being annoying. 1.5. Great. Actually, we'll be like engineers. And we'll say 3. So we could do something like builder tuple variable float, or variable not float, but it would be, what would this be? This would be something like value. I don't know, thinking about this as like a constant. No, I take this back. That's kind of weird. Whatever. We'll just say like name value. And then we could use this Closing delimiter possibly. Yeah, you're probably right. Let's do that. Then we could use this entry here to actually create the names for this. And then if we don't specify it, then maybe it just uses literally field_0, field_1. I think could work. I don't think we can do this. I don't think that's a thing we can do. Yeah. But we could do like, I think this could work. So name and value would be an okay alternative. Yeah, that seems like it'd be fine. So let's do that actually instead of just automatically using a tuple. I think that would just be a little bit easier. But before we do that, let's take like a 5-minute break, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. So yeah, BRB. Okay, we're back. So yeah, I think this syntax is probably the best choice. Let's go ahead and implement it, I guess. So first of all, what we need to do is under our field, this is where we have like the actual configuration that happens. This field adder struct actually has what the attributes on the field are. This is like our fully parsed, fully understood attributes on the field. So yeah, sorry, I'm just reading through some of this comments because it has in fact been a fat minute since I've looked at this. So yeah, let's add a pub. I guess tuple is just what we're gonna call it. It's gonna be an option of a vector of string of ident. Right, and this will represent. Actually, we'll do the same kind of documentation we have up here. Names. Tuple arguments are use the names use names for names. Let's also nope that does it. Okay, we'll just do this manually. I want to align these because we're super cool and hip, as the kids think they are. Okay, if we get okay and then none, that means that tuple arguments use field n for names. Tuple is passed as a value. That seems reasonable. I don't super care for the nested options. I generally dislike that, but I think it's fine. It would probably be better to use like a custom enum there, but that's too much work. Okay, so attribute parse. This is going to parse a single attribute, which is in this case a tuple. And this is going to be a tuple, and this is going to be a tuple, and this is going to be a tuple, and this is going to be a control A. This is going to be okay. All of this is fine. This is for okay. Right. So we parse into this attribute. Here we can say attribute tuple. And if we get a tuple attribute, then we need to do something. Do we don't use the nested parentheses syntax. If we go back to tuple, we don't use this syntax anywhere. We could change it to instead do that. Actually, I think that'd be fine. No, I think I prefer that. I think that makes more sense to me. So let's do that. I guess let's look at like how does default do this. So default is couple of checks, that's fine. Value is if we have an equal sign, take the equal sign, then take a literal string and then parse it. And then if we don't have an equal sign, then we just get none. So that's basically like we're just walking the tokens. So that's fine. We're gonna say so tuple doesn't conflict with any of these. It doesn't conflict with those two. It does not conflict with rename. Repeat, it doesn't conflict with yet, but no, it's not going to conflict. We'll just need some special handling around repeat, I think. Will we? No, actually, I don't think it will. Into is going to be a little bit weird, but I think that's fine. We'll figure that out. And default is fine as well, actually. So the only thing we need to check is if out.tuple.isSum, then we're going to bail with tuple may only be used once. So now we need to parse it. So we're going to say let, and we're going to take the, no, we have to say it's not a token, it's a group from, I don't even know. What is this token macro from? It's from sin. So I guess we'll use the group from sin. But that's a non-delimited group. How do you, let's go to docs rs sin. I don't remember how to use like the group stuff in sin. So there's punctuated. Which is like comma separated. But it's not delimited by anything on the outside. This module provides a common representation for these punctuated sequences in the form of punctuated TP. We store a vector of pairs using syntax. Yeah, that's great. Where each node is followed by a function except for possibly the final one. Yeah, that's fine. Braced? That could be it. Oh no, this is a... What is a content? Content here is... awesome. What? Parse a set of curly brackets and expose that content to sub... Oh, no, I don't care about that. Bracketed is square brackets. Parenthesized. Which gives a... It returns the parentheses. And then content... Yeah. This is what we want. So we want this parenthesized. Parenthesized over... what's the input called? It's called input. Great. And it's content in input, and we let content like that. Okay, and then X here is the parentheses, maybe both of them, but I don't care about that actually. And then we're just gonna parse terminated. So it's gonna be content.parse terminated. Parser should just be in, what is it called? Ident. Just ident. Found fn token ident. I don't think that's how that works. Ident parse. Great, and separator is a token comma. And if we just debug ident, and we say out.tuple dot, actually wait, idents is just the punctuated already, so we can say out.tuple dot, yeah, just equals sum of idents dot into iter dot collect. What does the iter return? TMP is comma. What does it yield though? It yields a... It doesn't say. Value of type that cannot be built from iterator of elements of rock macro. Oh, because it needs to be some. Can I do if x dot in, or no, not x, but input dot peak token Aaron? I don't think that's valid. So parenthesized. Can I do, ooh. How do I, is there a way for me to like check if the next thing is a parent? Maybe that? Okay, that seems to compile. And then if we don't have that, then we're gonna use some none. I don't care about this parenthesis. Can I just do that? I can. Beautiful. Okay, and then let's do cargo R example tuple. Okay, so it works. Let's just to make sure, let's debug idents. Like that, and we get name and value, and then they have their correct spans. And then let's just confirm that if we don't specify them, we still get parsed correctly. We do. It doesn't debug anymore. That's fine. Let's just debug out.tuple. So now we get out tuple is sum none, and then if we come back here and we add them back, then we get sum and then the list of idents. Beautiful. Okay, now let's go back to the lib. And then if we get this, no, let's do this and f.adder.tuple. Then we need to figure out what to do here. So this is going to be, fuck up. This can also just be done by reference. That's fine. So what is this? So right now we have this source and we have this source and value. So these can kind of stay the same. I think that should be fine. We just need to change, or they really can't stay identical. They can be similar though. We can say like, let's create a args and value like this. And then this is going to be, this is going to be this thing. And then this is going to return quote field name and source. And then just value. And then here we're going to say args. And then here we'll bring back to do. Just so that everything can compile, assuming that we put all our code correctly. So now this should behave exactly like before. If we don't have a tuple, or we have a tuple this and we don't specify the tuple argument or tuple attribute, I guess, then we're going to take this branch, which will keep doing what it was doing before, where we take the field name. This is supposed to be a colon. And if I just cargo T, everything should continue working. Oh, except the tuple argument, or tuple example is breaking. So let's actually do this still. That should just work. Everything should still work as it did before, which it seems to do. That's cool. And then now for this like case. Oop. So in here, do I have the bail macro in here too? No, I don't. So this is a little bit weird. Can I specify with the current way that the attribute system is set up? if I go back to field, do I have access to the field that we're parsing in here? I do. So I can actually say, if field.type, yeah, so let field or type, I guess, tuple is field.tie. Otherwise, I want to bail and I want to say on here, tuple may only be used on tuple fields. On fields that are tuples. Yeah. Like that. This can be by reference, that's fine. And then now we actually have the tuple. And then here we can say if tuple dot lms.len is not the same as idents.len. Then I want to bail on parent.span. And I want to say, what do I want to say? I guess let's actually, instead of doing this, let's say match on the comparison. If we get less, that means that we have fewer elements than names. I guess no, more names than elements in tuple. Then if they're equal, we're going to do nothing. And if it's greater, then we're going to say fewer names than elements in tuple. And then, yeah, equal will do nothing. Method span exists for that, but its trait bounds were not specified. Wait. The method span exists for struct parent, but its trait bounds were not satisfied. The following trait bounds were not satisfied. Okay, I guess it doesn't exist then. That's fine. I think we can just use idents here, actually. Ooh. Which will not highlight the surrounding parentheses, but I don't really care, I think. Yeah, content here, I don't think it's something we can use. I think this actually updates that. Unless it doesn't. Content. That's banned. Let's try it. So in order to try it, let's bring that back to be to do. Let's hop back over to the tuple. And so this is fine, but if I did like foo here, more names than elements in tuple. And if I cargo t, yeah, so it points to the very end, which is obviously not what I want. So let's go back to the field. And then let's change this to just be idents. So it'll kind of slightly point to the wrong thing, but I don't mind. Oh, wait, it points to the first thing? That feels weird, really? That feels like weird behavior to me. I mean, I would really like to highlight the entire parenthesized section. A little bit annoying that this doesn't work. Oh, span here is a field. Let's try that one. Oh, it's a delim span. Join returns a span covering the entire delimited group. Aha, that's exactly what I want. And then let's rename this to be parent. Like that. Yeah, so now we get more names than tuple, more names than elements in tuple. Beautiful. That is exactly what I wanted from that. And then just to confirm, if we don't have enough names, we get the kind of opposite order. Yeah, the opposite error. We're fewer names than elements in tuple. Beautiful. Great. Fantastic. Okay. So now we're parsing this correctly and we're doing some error handling. Yeah. Now, if we go back to our lib, we can, in here, we can do the next part. So this is going to be, we need to return two different things. We need to return the value, which is going to be basically, all right, I guess on the first side, we need to return the field names, which in our case is going to be name and tuple, like the tuple type 0 and so on, without the parentheses. So this is going to be the quote that we return, and then the value is just going to be parentheses around name 0, name 1, and so on, and then we'll let the code underneath actually handle assigning it and all of that. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to come up with a list of names, I think. So let's do that. So t, if let sum t is t. Now we have, I guess vec of ident is literally just the list of tuple names. Yeah, so actually that's fine. Let's do t dot unwrap, I guess t dot cloned dot unwrap or else. And here we're going to say tuple dot lms dot len. We'll say 0 to this map. N is going to be format ident. And it's going to be this underscore this, where we take the field name and we take n. And then we need to collect this into the vector. And that'll give us our vec of ident. What is the issue here? Closure is expected to take 0 arguments, but it takes 1. Yeah, you're right. This is found to be right, and so now the types between these two branches aren't the same. But now we have a list of names. This identifier, what does it point? Like, what is the span? Unlike format, this macro uses the ident fragment formatting trait by default. I don't really care about the formatting. Hygiene. The span of the first ident argument is used as the span of the final identifier, falling back to call site window identifiers are provided. Yeah, that's fine, I think. Yeah, I don't know of a better one to use anyway, so yeah, we'll just stick with that. Okay, so now we have names, which is our vector of idents that we can use for rendering this and the value. But then for source, this needs to be the types of the tuple variants. So let types, I guess, is going to be t, no, not t, but this is going to be coming from the tuple. It's going to be lms dot, actually, that should be fine, because into iter gives the types, or it gives the element, so that, yeah, that'll be fine. Then I think we can just say quote. It's going to be, I guess, hash parent. We're going to say names, colon, tuple, comma plus, comma star. Technically, there's a weird case here where we have an empty tuple, which is already a weird case in general. Like if we have an empty tuple, wait, expected expression. I don't know how that works. I think you could do that. Because that's just unit. I thought there was a distinction where you could do that. Oh no, that's for if you have a value. Then this is a tuple of a single element. Actually, here's a question. Is unit its own type or is it part of a tuple? Bear function group infiltrate infer blah 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 blah. Path pointer reference slice trade object tuple verbatim. It must be an empty tuple then. So maybe we'll have to special case that and basically say that the tuple attribute isn't okay there, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense there. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. But okay, so now we have this, which is the arguments, and then here we need to put the value, which is just gonna literally be parentheses, names, I guess more parentheses, and then comma separated, like that. Okay, maybe that just works. More names and elements in tuple. Right, we have an issue still in here that we need to fix. That goes like that. Let's see. So argument number 2 of type stir f64 is missing. Okay, so that was kind of wrong. Oh, because this is just doing 2 tokens. It's not doing the iterator. Can I just do tuple dot into iter? I thought there was a into iter. Tuple here is, what is on this? Nothing. That feels wrong. Tuple. Oh. Tuple.lm. Oh, yeah, it's tuple lms. Okay. Something different happened. Let's cargo expand on tuple. Oh, but it's got a syntax error. I wish that's cargo expand would work even if there was a syntax error. Is that not something I can do? Because I want to see exactly what tokens it's expanding to. What does verbose do? Not really what I want. What does ugly do? Ugly. Yeah, that doesn't do anything at all either. Okay, so that doesn't work. Why does it not work? So it's saying that I'm missing, like, colon. Can I debug this? I can. Little bit painful. Token stream is name colon ampersand backtick a stir comma F64 comma. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I suspect it's more of me doing this. Oh wait, do I need to do that again? Or can I do iter? Beautiful. Okay. So now we got field. It has name colon tick a stir. Yes, tick a stir. Value is F64. Bam. I think that's it. So cargo R example tuple. Ooh, that is a messy error. Oh. Yeah, that is a very messy error. Look at that. What the fuck is that? That's because we're still doing this. So argument here is that. Let me reopen this so that Rust Analyzer can stop being stupid. And yeah, if we look at the signature here, its name is string and value is F64. And it all seems to be working. If I just assert foo.field.0 is pi, or assert equal, I guess, and then foo.field1 is 3. I don't fucking care, Clippy. You're such a useful little tool. Yeah, okay, so it works. Let's remove this debug. And that other debug. And now it seems to be happy. That's cool. That's really, really, really cool. And I do like that the names are here. If we delete these names, then it should just be field 0, field 1. Oh, that's cool as shit. I didn't realize that would be a thing, but if you like do the hover over the names here, it tells you what the type is. That's really cool. Rust Analyzer is really, really cool. Okay, that's awesome. That's actually really cool. Now I want to add support for into here, which is currently not supported. So let's figure out how to support that. Not you. Back in the lib. Yeah, so basically we need to do this condition in here, which should be pretty straightforward, I think. It's basically going to be this. Do we want to do this here, or do we want to... Yeah, we can just do this here. I think that's fine. So let's just copy this. By default, we're going to do that. But then if we are in into mode, then we're instead going to use this stuff. So this is going to be impl core convert into this type. Yeah, and then otherwise for the name, and then also for the names, we're going to use this. We're going to actually call .into. So now if we go back to tuple, I think that's wrong. Yep, this accepts anything which can be turned into a stir, which means that this example should continue working if I change this to be string. Like no code needs to be changed at all, which is exactly what I want. So you can take anything that can be turned into a string, and anything that can be turned into an F64, including an integer. Okay, that is beautiful, actually. I'm really happy with this. And then I think now name should be shown as into string. Yep. Okay, that's really cool. And then just to confirm, if we expand this, everything still looks right. So FN field is gonna have, so it has name, impl that, and then core convert into on the name. Beautiful. That is exactly what I need, or what I want. And then this continues to work, except these are called field 0 and field 1. Beautiful. Fantastic. I'm actually kind of thrilled about that. Let's go document it. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's confirm. I think the way that we did it, this should continue working. Repeat. Oh, actually, that's nice too. Tuple may only be used on fields. Oh, that's completely wrong. Field. Tuple may only be used on fields that are tuples. This is a little bit weird though, because I don't... Yeah, this is a bit weird, right? Because I want... I want to support this. So where does repeat come in? Yeah, so repeat does get this single generic, but it needs to be done in order, which is a little bit annoying. But I think we can cover that with documentation. Also, yeah, that's technically wrong still. Yeah, repeat has this inner type, so we can do that. So we can say tuple. This is a weird condition. So if... Yeah, tuples may only be used with fields that are tuples. That's... I mean, that makes sense. That's fine. I would really like to change this to be... actually, let's just change this to be match. Convert that. This thing. And then in here, we'll say match on out dot repeat dot, yeah, match on out repeat. Everything else is going to do this. And then if repeat is sum, repeat inner tie is tuple. Then we're going to return a reference to tuple. Otherwise, we're going to bail. So now this should work. Right? And it would be nice if we could make this so that the order doesn't matter, but I'm not super concerned about that because we can literally just say in the documentation that it needs to be specified. If you want to use repeat, you have to use repeat first. But then we get self field push, then you push this. So this should just kind of work. I'm gonna just debug because I can. Well, I guess I can't, but now I can. Tuple may only be used, right, it's gonna keep complaining because I need to restart Rust Analyzer for it to be happy. But if I cargo R on tuple, then we see it logs the tuple. If I call it again, and we say like E is 2, I guess fine, we could say E is 3, then it also works. That's fucking beautiful. Repeat N is 1 to 2. No, is 1 and onwards. And we can unwrap. Okay, beautiful. This is working really, really well. I'm honestly a little bit surprised with how well this is working, just kind of out of the box. Let me just restart, make sure that I am right, that Rust Analyzer will stop complaining. Of course I am. And if I do this again, then field is still named correctly. Okay. And here field is still named correctly. Beautiful. You can go away. Okay. Is there anything else to add here? I don't think so. Let's go and write some documentation. So coming up here, I guess just adding to the list, tuple. So what is the general like notation that we're using? Make this function that generates a different name from the field itself. Attribute repeat must also be specified. Ensure the length, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So rather than accepting the tuple by value, accept each element of the tuple as a separate argument to the function. Note, if used with repeat, repeat on a vector. Actually, if used with repeat, repeat must come before tuple. After you, I guess, names can be added to the... If names are specified following the tuple keyword, the tuple following tuple, they will be used for the names of the arguments to the function. Parameters. And then let's give a handy dandy little example, which is just going to be do this. Why are we doing... This doesn't need to be stringify. We can just do separate derives. Right? Like that's an okay thing to do, right? Cargo doc open. It might open in the wrong web browser. We'll see. Or it opened in no web browser. Yep, it opened in the wrong one. Let's fix that. Okay. So if we go look at the builder macro, what does it show down here? Yeah, it just shows derive builder. That's kind of fine. Okay, and then we can say remove the prefix. Builder here is going to be tuple, which is going to be, I don't know, I32, I32. Actually, let's do a string. No, let's do an I32, I32. Then we can say dot tuple. Takes in, I don't know, 0, 1. And then we can have tuple names is A, B. 2, and 3. And then we can also give an example with a repeat. So we can say vector over this is going to take repeat, into even. Let's skip the into actually. And like, I don't know, foo and bar. And we can say 6 and 7 there, that's fine. And then let's do one more where we actually use into. What's something that is very commonly done with into? It's fine. We'll say I32 again. And this is called tuple into. Hello. Actually, let's do the pi and 3.14. Like that. And if we cargo test, that should all work, except it doesn't. Right, I don't care about that at all, actually. Okay, cool. That all builds and works quite well. Let's cargo doc just to make sure that everything is easy to understand in here. So tuple, rather than accepting the tuple by value, rather than accepting a field that is a tuple by value, accept each element of the tuple as separate parameters to the setter function. If names are specified following the tuple, if names are specified using tuple name 1, name 2, ... see example. They will be used for names of the parameters of the function. If used with repeat, repeat must come before tuple. Great. That works quite well. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, so let's clippy, make sure I'm not doing anything stupid. Let's close that, make sure that's fine. Let's see what the tuple example looks like right now. It doesn't really have anything, so let's do examples, tuple, add tuple attribute. Let's spell correctly. So let's push this like that, and then let's write a couple of tests, I think. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to step away for just a second and grab something to drink, so I'll be right back. God damn it, Pulse. Or, not Pulse. Okay, well, that's weird. We're drawing on the screen now, it seems. There we go. Or not. Why is the bar? God damn it. Wayland is kind of stupid sometimes. What the fuck are you doing? Why is it doing that? Okay, I'm gonna switch back. And then switch there. Nope, it's still broken. What the fuck, Wayland? What if we do that? Hey, there we go. Okay. Fantastic. Now let's go. I need to remember how we do these UI tests. So create the RS, and then we cargo oh fuck, what's it called? It's build. No, it's cargo T, but there's a special like thing that gets set for it. Also, infallible is currently has a warning at compile time. Let's just do an assertion here. Assert eq x dot field is hello. It's not necessary. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the test, but it's fine. Yeah, so let's copy UI default repeat fail rs to UI. Oh, it's called try build. That's what the library is called. Let's say tuple too many names. Let's say tuple too many names dot fail dot rs too many names, and then here it's just going to be tuple a b c, and here it's just going to be tuple with like I32. And then I don't think I need to register it in here. Yeah, it does a glob on there already. So if I cargo T, it'll fail. But hopefully it tells me. No, so I can do this and then manually move it, but I want to. Oh, actually, I might just have it in my history. Yep, like that. And then override it. Now if I cargo T, it's successful. And then it created this work in progress, but I don't want that. So cargo T is now working. And then if we look at what the too many names does, is it says more names and elements in tuple at this position. That's perfect. Okay, let's copy too many names to few names. Oh, not that one. To few names. This is just going to be I32, and we only have A and B. And then we can cargo T. I guess try build overwrite like that. And then we cargo T, everything's successful. Is there anything else that we really care about? I don't really think so. It would be nice if we could do some sort of assertion that the names are being used correctly, but I don't really know of a good way to do that. So I think we're gonna be I think we're just gonna finish up this tuple thing. Add a couple of UI tests. Okay, now let's create our PR for this. I guess you can go away. Issues, pull requests, RPR, tuple parameters, completes. What is this? What number is it? GitHub, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you not showing me open issues? I think it's 10. No, I think it's 5, 4. Label enhancement, sure. Assign myself, sure. Let's just double check that all of this is fine. Or reasonable, I guess. Seems fine, nothing's screaming at me. And let's create this PR. And then we're gonna let CI finish before we merge it. And then let's see, is there anything else in here that is interesting? Also, is this not, did it not link them? Is completes not a closing word? Click. Okay, document pub self and visibility attribute. Thoroughly test all attributes and the combinations. We're not doing that right now. That one's going to take a long time. Documentation on fields should be added to functions. Yeah, I think we can maybe do this. I don't think that should be much of an issue. So let's see. I want this to finish because I think it'll be conflicts otherwise. And testing on Windows is slow. How far in are we? 24 seconds. It'll probably take like a minute or two. Oh, we're a minute in. We'll probably take like 2 minutes. Because Windows is always slow. Okay, we're done. Minute and a half. Not awful. Okay. I need to bypass the rules here because I have it set for 1 approval, but yeah, it's fine. Delete branch. Actually, let's make it auto delete branches. That's a thing that it can do. Let's disable the wiki since we're not using it. Automatically delete head branches. Yes, thank you. Do I need a save? I don't. Okay. Beautiful. Issues. Okay, so let's use this let's do this documentation on fields. Should be added to functions. This is a little bit there's a couple of levels to this. There is just like that simplest way of, hey, just literally take all of the documentation and move it to the function. But then there's like more of a, hey, allow the user to specify what documentation should be put on the ultimate function. I think that's a future enhancement, but for now I literally just want to copy paste this to this. Because right now if we look at I don't think I can cargo doc an example. Unless I can. Cargo doc complex. Complex index.html. Okay, maybe I can. So yeah, if we look at this, let's do example simple. Oh, actually, let's go check out main. Check out main. Nope, get check out main. And then let's look at this simple example. If I put a documentation on here, hello, and then we cargo doc example simple, then we open it, which should be here. You'll see this field is documented, but the function itself, sorry, did it not generate the builder? What? Where's the builder? Oh, this includes the visibility. Or it sets the visibility. Yeah, so cargo doc, we look at this now, the builder, set field A does not include any stores or any sort of documentation. So we need to do that. How do we do that though? So I think if we go back to field, or yeah, field, there is within, actually on the field, I think there's an attributes. And so like this is syntactic sugar. Can I expand it? Yeah, dsugar into literally it's just a string inside of an attribute. So attributes, it's a vector. So I can find a returns a path that identifies the interpretation of this attribute. Can't compare that for the trade implementation. That Yeah. This feels kind of hacky. I feel like there's probably a better way to do this. What other things do we have on here? So we've got adders, ident, type, visibility, mutability, colon, token. Okay, so field adders, iter find. Then A is the attribute. What is meta? Maybe we try this? No, that feels weird. What crate is this? This is sin. Let's go check out what sin has for attribute. Attribute. Or actually, does sin even have anything just for, like, doc? No, it doesn't. Okay. That would be handy, but that's fine. So attribute... Oh, it's a name value. Dot comments. It's got a section on this. The compiler transforms dot comments such as that into, yeah. Example following mod items are expanded identically. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's great. So it does say that this is a name value from meta. So we can say meta, if let sum, and honestly, this can be, there's a find map, yeah. Meta name value. Meta is a.meta. Then we're going to do something, otherwise we're going to say none. And then what are we going to do here? We're going to say debug meta. And we're going to say none. It doesn't matter. Yeah, error reference. What can I do here? Meta value is an expr. Or I guess meta name path dot. There's get ident. If this path consists of a single ident, returns the ident. If the name is doc. Actually, if the name is not doc, then we're going to return none. So now if we cargo R, example simple, this will at some point log doc equals and then this literal string. The meta expr or meta value is an expr. Can I match on this expr? What is the expr? So the expr is a literal, which contains a string. So is there a way to get a lit string from an expr? I think there might be, but we can just match through it. I think it's fine. So lit this. If we don't get that, then we're going to return none. Then this expression, or the actual literal contains attribute, which we can just ignore. And then lit needs to be a lit stir. So expr lit. That's what it's called, right? Oh no, this is a... Wait, no, it holds an expr lit. But this shows it as, like, this? No, it is definitely like this. What are you? You are an expert lit. What the fuck is an expert lit? That's not something I can use? Match on lit dot lit. And then let's fill the arms. We can do the lit stir. This guy's gonna return none. And this guy's gonna return lit stir dot value as sum. And then now all of these are returning, which means we can just remove these returns. And yeah, we can do this by reference, that's fine. And also this by reference. Cool. So now this is going to be let doc is this. It is a little bit weird, actually. Because if we look at attribute, he says it expands into multiple doc comments, whereas like the Rust Analyzer expansion didn't. But that makes it seem like multiple comments is allowed in general, so we should probably support that. And we can do so by, instead of making this a find map, make it a flat map, and then we'll collect into a string. Actually, I would rather join. Can I join on here? No. It needs to be a join, which is a little bit annoying. No, it's not. We don't need to join. This can just be a vector of strings. It still needs to collect though. Right, so now we've got a... Oh, no, what the fuck am I doing? We don't even need to do this. This can literally just be a vector of attributes. Yeah, this can just be a vector of attributes. Which means that this is just filter. Which means that this is true. This is false. This is false. Just return. Name is doc. Oh, fuck. This is meta get ident and then no is sum and name is doc. Like that. Beautiful. Okay, and then here, this is now an attribute. Right, that's what this is. This is a reference to a reference of attributes. So it should just be a reference of attributes. Unless not. What are you expecting? That cannot be built over an iterator of elements of type sin attribute. Oh, right. That's fine. Sin attribute is what we are getting here. And this is a reference to this field, which is kind of annoying because we can't carry that reference out of here. Can we? Do we have the field here? No, we don't. Also, this is like the wrong place to put this. Let's put it wherever we build the builder field. This thing, this try from. Can I clone an attribute? And then this field here is value. Cool. So now down here, we're going to put doc. And then here we need to have this doc, which is a vec of sin attribute. And then back in lib, down here, when we generate the function, happens right here. We want hash doc. And then we can say let doc is builder, what is it called? Field dot, no, fuck, okay, I need to scroll up. F, what is F? F here is the builder field, so F dot doc. Oh, and we need to actually properly expand this, I think. That. Yes. Beautiful. By reference. And then if we cargo doc on simple again, and then we reopen it. Oh no, it's right here. And then we reload this, then we get the documentation here. Beautiful. If we cargo expand on simple, we get set field A has this documentation along with yeah, up here we've got hello. Perfect. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead and say get checkout B document I guess function documentation. And then we can say add documentation on function. Then we can go ahead and push that, close that, that's fine. What number is this? 5. Let's create our PR. Assign ourselves. See, I thought complete was one of these closing keywords. But I guess not. Resolves. 5 was it? It was. Labels is documentation enhancements. Cool. And then we can say create PR. And then let's let all the CI run, and then we can merge it. I don't think I care to wait for Windows CI this time, just because that one does tend to take a little bit longer. But we'll see. Okay. Very nice. I mean, fuck it. Windows is almost done anyways, I'm sure. Yeah, we're about a minute in. It should be just about done. So we'll let it run. Why not? Okay. Seems to have worked out. Seems to be good. Okay, let's merge this. So add documentation on, let's say setter functions. And we can merge this. And then the branch automatically gets deleted. We've got these 2 issues left. I'm gonna leave those open. I think they are pretty good first issues as they're marked, for like newcomers to the repository. But yeah, so that was quite a bit of progress today. And also first time touching this in like 4 months. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Here is the link to this repository if anybody wants to check that out. But I think that's going to be it for today. So thank you everybody for coming, and I'll see you next time.